But the thing I'm getting out of this, Roach took the fight. It gives him a chance to really.
Let me look at Floyd. Let me get Floyd.
Cal, you gotta calm down. Listen to me.
Hey, come on now.
Hungry, you know what I'm saying?
Tank's corner was in total disarray during his fight against Lamont Roach, and now his trainer, Calvin Ford, has revealed what caused all the confusion that night. According to Ford, Tank requested a highly questionable decision in the middle of the fight, throwing the team into turmoil. The situation mirrored the chaos in Tyson Fury's corner during his first undisputed heavyweight championship showdown with Alexander Usyk. That fight,
You know what I'm saying? You see how I asked him, are you ready? You know what I'm saying? Because he's a champ, what's the best for him? I'm hoping that he do what I do.
Tyson Fury remained calm with his trainers, but his father, John Fury, created chaos in the corner by constantly yelling over Andy Lee and Sugar Hill Stewart. As a result, Tyson misinterpreted their instructions, which ultimately led to his defeat. Tank's situation, however, was different. This time he was the one causing the chaos. The fight was unfolding in an unexpected way, as it became clear that Tank was likely to hear the final bell after 12 rounds, something that had only happened twice before in his career. This was unusual.
So I can see different levels of it. This time I had a chance to step back, and everybody keeps saying, they changing up stuff. No, we ain't changed up anything.
Given that Tank is known for finishing fights in the 7th, 8th, or 9th round. However, this time, Lamont Roach was fighting back, and Tank was in control. That set off alarms in his corner as his team tried to guide him, but Tank pushed back, raising his voice at Calvin Ford and shouting, "Listen to me." His team listened, but the outcome wasn't pretty, and things could get even worse if his draw against Roach is overturned. Initially, his coaches remained tight-lipped about Tank's outburst, insisting everything would be handled. But now, with the result hanging in the balance, the situation has taken a different turn. Here's what's happening now. It was supposed to be just another routine night for Tank and his team.
Where you belongs at, you know what I'm saying? And punishment, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes things gotta happen to make you get back to.
From the moment his fight with Lamont Roach was announced, Team Davis showed no signs of concern. Roach was a familiar opponent with a solid record, but despite holding a title, he was seen as the smaller man and not a serious threat, seen as a heavy underdog.
Today, but
2 days before the fight.
Yeah. I ran water over.
Roach fought like a man on a mission. He boxed brilliantly from the outside, and when Tank forced him to abandon the jab and fight on the inside, he stood his ground without hesitation. By the final bell, fans at Brooklyn's Barclays Center stood in shock. They had just witnessed 36 minutes of non-stop action, but no one was certain who would get the win. As the scores were being tallied, Team Davis waited patiently, initially confident. But those early grins quickly disappeared when their man was handed a majority decision draw.
You know what I'm saying? It was like we was on skillful. Both of them want to take certain chances, some of them take chances.
For the first time in his pro career, Tank left the ring without an official win. Backstage, he slumped into his chair as his team, including Barry Hunter, shook their heads in disappointment. Hunter, who took the lead role over Calvin Ford, believed the judges got it wrong. From his perspective, there was no denying Tank had a tough fight, but he was convinced that in the final rounds, Tank turned a close battle into a clear victory. "We give credit to the other side," Hunter told ESPN. "But I thought the last 2 rounds sealed the deal. I thought we won."
Nobody won. Well, both of us back today was that again.
On the other hand, many believe Tank should have lost the decision, and that referee Steve Willis should have ruled a knockdown when he took a knee in the 9th round. One of the loudest critics has been former IBF, WBC, and WBO lightweight champion, George Kambosos Jr., who has traded shots with Tank on social media. Speaking to Fight Hype after a workout for his upcoming March 22 fight against Stud Jordan, Kambosos didn't hold back. He just had a draw and lost a lot of stock, he said, wiping sweat from his face. What does he have to do? Rebuild his career. Since the fight with Roach, Tank has faced heavy criticism from nearly every corner of the boxing world. What
do you honestly think about this Davis versus Roach fight? Like, for you at 140, do you feel it's like you fighting a smaller guy at 130, 135? What's your thoughts on the...
Fighters had expressed interest in a rematch, while the New York State Athletic Commission continues to review the controversial moment in the 9th round. That night, a failure in the replay system prevented Davis's gesture from being reviewed, potentially costing Roach a victory. Had the call been made, Roach would have won by majority decision, securing his status as a 2-division world champion. Instead, Tank remains the champion, keeping his unbeaten record intact. Meanwhile, his rivalry with George Kambosos Jr. has only intensified. What started as social media jabs has turned into full-blown mutual disrespect. Tank doesn't seem to rate Kambosos as a...
And against Lamont Roach, is it a big fight?
Well, I don't want to disrespect Lamont Roach. He's a very skilled fighter, super featherweight.
Throughout his career, Tank has relied
serious threat, while Kambosos has repeatedly criticized the level of competition Tank has faced throughout his career. Throughout his career, Tank has relied on his athleticism, patience, and knockout power to dominate opponents. But on Saturday, he faced someone who wasn't intimidated and absorbed his shots without major trouble. While no one doubts Tank's skills, it's clear there are areas where opponents can challenge the WBA champion. Before Roach's impressive performance, the only fighter to go the distance with Tank was Isaac Cruz. Now, all eyes are on Tank's next move to see if he's serious about an immediate rematch. If the second fight happens, the question will be whether Roach fights with more confidence, but less discipline. As for
his own show, he runs his own race, and the fans, no matter what, the fans will see, obviously, what the fighter's doing, the fans see what's happening, and,
For Tank, it remains to be seen if he can make the necessary adjustments and fight in a different style. Tank's ring IQ is often overlooked. He's known for taking his time in the early rounds, studying his opponents and making adjustments. But against Roach, he never seemed to find his rhythm. After the fight, Roach had plenty of supporters. His friend and Tank's rival. Shakur Stevenson praised his performance and even offered to fight him next. While that matchup makes sense, the fight fans really want is a Davis versus Roach rematch, especially after Roach made people question whether Tank is truly unbeatable. Meanwhile, boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has weighed in on the New York...
One thing that's kind of baffling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee...
In the draw, and all you think won.
Do you know what? Honestly, I haven't watched the fight. We had a show that night. I haven't watched the full fight.
State Athletic Commission's review of the controversial fight between Tank and Roach. Hearn doesn't believe the New York State Athletic Commission will overturn the majority draw, but expects a rematch to take place. Tank and Roach fought to a draw last Saturday at Barclays Center, but controversy erupted over Tank's voluntary knee in the 9th round, where no knockdown was called. This has led to an official review. According to Dan Raphael of Fight Freaks Unite, Roach's lawyer has filed an appeal to have the result changed to a win for Roach, either by decision, knockout.
I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough...
Or disqualification. Hearn acknowledged the situation but told Fight Hype on Tuesday that he doesn't expect the commission to change the outcome. I don't think they will, Hearn said regarding the commission overturning the result. Can the state call for an immediate rematch? I don't think they can. It's really up to the governing body. The WBA oversees the lightweight title, and while the commission can review the outcome, it doesn't have the authority to mandate a rematch. However, Hearn believes a second fight is inevitable. Everything I'm hearing is the rematch is going to happen anyway, he said. I think it's pretty much done. Hearn also weighed in on the 9th round controversy.
Hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
do you think New York State overturns it?
Stating that Tank's decision to take a knee should have been ruled a knockdown. If you take a knee in a fight at touchdown while punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown, Hearn said. I heard people saying he should be disqualified because he went back to his corner. I don't buy that. I think that's just a warning. But it was definitely a bizarre situation. The New York State Athletic Commission's review is still ongoing, with no final decision announced yet. Lost in the aftermath of Saturday's PBC pay-per-view in Brooklyn was the impact of referee Steve Willis's missed knockdown call. That moment didn't just cost Lamont Roach Jr. the WBA lightweight title. It also robbed him of what...
Something funny, when we was talking in the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking shit, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win.
Would have been a massive upset victory over Tank. Roach, a former amateur rival of Tank, should have been the headline story after handing the -1,600 betting favorite the first blemish of his pro career in their controversial majority draw at Barclays Center. Instead, attention shifted to the New York State Athletic Commission, which lacked transparency in the immediate aftermath. On Monday, the commission claimed a technical issue prevented them from reviewing the instant replay footage in time. By failing to call Tank's voluntary knee in the 9th round a knockdown, Roach lost out on a 10-8 swing that would have secured him the victory. That decision didn't just...
Why not? What you talking about? They like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I was like, oh, is that right? So, you know, that's how...
just cost Roach the WBA title. It also cost him millions, as he would have entered their inevitable rematch as the defending champion. The New York State Athletic Commission has told multiple outlets that it is still reviewing the situation, but one major question remains unanswered. What was going on with Tank, seeing the 30-year-old Baltimore native struggle against such a massive underdog after years of dominance was shocking. However, the biggest surprise wasn't just the fight itself. It was how Roach looked in the ring. After moving up to lightweight, Roach appeared to be the bigger fighter.
It's sad to say, you know, that's how boxing works. I'm not, like, totally upset. I figured with a superstar...
He carried himself with confidence and used the experience he gained from growing up in the same boxing circles as Tank to deliver the best performance of his career. The biggest questions now revolve around Tank's mindset and the unusual behavior he displayed before, during, and after the fight. Was this just an off night for one of boxing's pound-for-pound best? Or has he lost the fire that made him such a dominant force? Star fighters showing up late to media events isn't uncommon, especially for Tank, who arrived nearly 2 hours late to his 2023 press conference with Ryan Garcia. But this time he took it to another level, showing up 4.5 hours late to his first media event with Roach in New York, and then arriving 90 minutes late to last Friday's weigh-in. Tank was his usual playful self during fight week, but his
much on paper. But shit, I damn sure thought I had it. Especially when they announced the score for him. I was like, oh,
his actions inside the ring raised concerns. Twice during the first half of the fight, he took his eyes off Roach to argue with referee Steve Willis, only to get caught with clean punches. Prime video cameras captured more unusual moments from Tank, including him yelling over Calvin Ford's advice in the corner, repeatedly shouting, "Listen to me," between rounds. Then came the most controversial moment in round 9. After Roach landed a series of jabs, Tank began blinking his left eye aggressively, turned his back, and took a knee. He immediately got up and ran to his corner, where Ford wiped his eye with a towel, something that, under the rules, could have led...
I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, shit, here it comes. But as soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with.
led to a disqualification. Referee Steve Willis began the mandatory 8 count but stopped at 3, issued a warning, and allowed the fight to continue, avoiding what could have been a career-altering moment for Davis. Davis's explanation in the post-fight interview was bizarre, and his attitude didn't reflect the seriousness of nearly losing his title and unbeaten record. As the crowd booed, it was hard to tell if he was embarrassed or simply indifferent. "I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she put grease in it, so that was coming in my face when I was sweating, and it burned my eyes," Davis said. "Dan, why are y'all booing? I'm telling you real facts. Come on, man, look at my hair."
So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay.
"I just got it done. But it's all cool, man. You know how they get. They love you, then they hate you, then they turn around and love you again." Davis, who has a mandatory rematch clause in his contract and expressed interest in it on social media Monday, appeared more humble while discussing his performance at the post-fight press conference. However, his comments also reveal a lack of awareness regarding the rules. "Nobody likes a draw from a guy who gets knockouts and things like that. But it's cool," Davis said. "I feel like if we fight again, I could do more."
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to.
"I should have done more. I was lost and lost track of the rounds. That's why we need ring girls. I didn't know what round it was. Facts. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes were burning. You can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee, Davis admitted. But I didn't really know you could get disqualified for receiving mid-round corner assistance. When Willis started counting, I was like, what the hell? But it's cool. Davis has faced tough competition in recent years, including current welterweight champion Mario Barrios and former 140-pound title holder Isaac Pitbull Cruz. But his performance against Roach was his first noticeably flat showing since 2017. That year, on the undercard of the Floyd Mayweather vs. Conor McGregor super fight, Davis missed weight and lost his IBF 130-pound title on the scales. He was booed throughout a lackluster fight against Francisco Fonseca, though he still managed to secure an 8th-round knockout. Since then, Davis has risen to global stardom.
Wow, my eyes was burning. And you can get knocked out like that, so I'd rather take the knee than...
And despite ongoing legal troubles frequently making headlines, those issues never seemed to affect his explosive in-ring performances, until now. What made Davis's performance against Roach even more puzzling was the ongoing narrative about his potential retirement. Leading up to the fight, Tank repeatedly hinted that his time in boxing was coming to an end, with 2025 possibly being his final year in the ring. In a January interview with Inside Boxing Live, Davis opened up about his desire to step away from the sport to focus on his mental health and becoming a better father. That's why I don't want to box anymore, he said. I want to do therapy, but I feel like if I do, I'd lose the fire inside of me. I want everything out of me so I never think about fighting again or even getting angry. I have 2 girls, and I want them to be much softer and more humble. Or a fighter who built his career on